Children's Book Illustrator: How to Illustrate and Publish a Children's Book.
Hey, Eric Holmlund here with an exciting new development in the world of artificial intelligence. We have harnessed the power of AI to create children's books. It will write children's books. It'll also illustrate children's books. And not only will it do that, but it will do that with a level of high quality and excellence. So these are books that kids and young people will enjoy, as well as the adults who read those books to the kids. Here's an example of one that I recently created with our AI children's book maker. This one's called Coach on Wheels. It's about a basketball coach who's in a wheelchair. And it is just a beautiful, high quality book. You know, we open it up, we've got a copyright page and a title page that was created by our tool. And then it begins the story, and we've got the illustrations and really just beautiful illustrations throughout. Now you can create really an infinite range of illustration styles. So if you don't like this particular style, that's not a problem. There's really any style that you can think of can be created by the AI. But certainly these are some beautiful illustrations. And if you want to see real life kids' reaction to me reading this book for the first time, I actually posted a read aloud video below somewhere on this page of the first time I read this book to a couple of my own kids. And so, if that's not proof, I don't know what is, right? And so you can create books like this on demand. You can create, of course, ebooks very easily. You can also create books that can be printed in real life. There are many different places you can publish children's books. There are many ways that you can make money with them. This tool can also be used to create products for information marketers that you may want to use in your business, things like lead magnets and bonuses. Let me give you an example. So in our coaching club that I run, we have one of our students has a business related to health and sleep, and help teaching people natural methods for falling asleep. And so we created a children's book that is geared towards teaching natural methods for kids to be able to overcome anxiety and fall asleep more easily. And so there's really so many possibilities of how you could potentially make money with these children's books. I actually have an in-depth tutorial that I made and put in the members area showing you many different places that you can publish children's books. Now, if you're anything like me, you might have some mixed feelings about AI. As both a writer and an artist, I wasn't real thrilled about the advent of this technology taking over a lot of things that I love to do. But it is here to stay, and so I've found that as a creative person, I've been able to use the AI to get more done, and I can use it in very creative ways. And so, if you're an artist or if you're a writer, this is absolutely something that you can still use, and you can use it to get more done. You can crank out children's books, and you can do as much or as little of the work as you want. If you want to write the book yourself, you can do that. If you want to illustrate the book or part of the book, you can do that. It's really totally flexible and totally up to you how much you want the AI to do. As you'll see in some of our demonstrations, you can have the AI do all of it. It is capable of doing that at this point. But if you're a creative person, there's certainly value in doing your own work on some of these projects as well. And so by grabbing this tool, it's not like you're selling out to AI or saying that you're not going to ever do any of your own work anymore. It's just a tool that allows you to get more done and get it done quickly, and in fact, to do it with excellence. I have met so many people over the years who have a dream of writing and publishing a children's book, and yet I've seen so few people actually make good on that dream, actually see it fulfilled. And so, if you're one of those many people out there who've always wanted to write a children's book, by all means, grab this today and let's get that dream done, right? It is right within your grasp. In fact, you can have your children's book done by the end of the day and then move on to another one. And if you're not someone who already was interested in creating and publishing children's books, I encourage you to check out this page anyway, because it's an amazing opportunity that AI has really handed to us, and that my partner Ryan and I have then compiled into a tool that really just hands it to you on a silver platter and allows anyone to tap into this opportunity right now. So I encourage you to check out all the information on this page below this video. Check out the demos to see exactly how our tool works. Check out maybe the read aloud of Coach on Wheels. And check out the illustration examples that we've got on the page as well to see the wide variety of illustrations that this thing is capable of. And then by all means, go ahead and grab it for yourself and give it a try. You're not going to know just how fun it is and how great it feels, to have the power to create these things on demand as much as you want until you try it for yourself. And I'm telling you, it really is fun. I really think you're going to enjoy it. I encourage you to grab it, try it for yourself. And we look forward to seeing the results. Like, we want to see the books that you generate and create, and all the fun and success that you're going to have with it. Thanks for checking it out. When you log into the dashboard, you'll find that the children's book generator is laid out in a very simple, logical, step-by-step manner for you to quickly and easily generate your children's book. Step 1 is to get your idea. If you still need ideas, use the idea generator. And literally all you have to do is click the button and it will generate ideas for you. And as you can see, it will generate 10 great book ideas for you. Now, if you don't like any of those, you can always generate 10 more, but in my experience, it's been coming up with some really great ideas, so you'll probably like at least one of the 10 ideas. For each idea, it gives you a title, an age range, and a 1 to 2 sentence synopsis of what the book is about. For example, The Brave Little Bird, a chapter book for ages 6 to 8 about a small bird who sets out on a journey to find her missing family. Along the way, she faces challenges and learns about the power of perseverance, courage, and friendship. Or The Mighty Oak, a picture book for ages 4 to 6 that tells the story of a tiny acorn that grows into a mighty oak tree. Through this tale, children learn the cycle of life, the importance of perseverance, and the beauty of nature. You can click one button to copy this text to your clipboard, or you can simply click one button to download a text file of all these ideas. Now, if you already have an idea, even if it's just a general idea of what you want the book to be about, we have a different tool called the Idea Outliner. So I did have a possible book idea that actually came to me last night, and it is about a little girl that gets to go to Antarctica with her father, who is a scientist. And so I just wrote 4 very short sentences as a synopsis, and then when I click this button, it is going to give me some ideas of the actual book title and angle that I could take for this book. And it came up with 10 great ideas for me, such as Izzy's Antarctic Adventure, a journey through the ice for ages 5 to 8. Follow along with Izzy as she discovers the wonders of Antarctica alongside her scientist father. From penguins to glaciers, this book is filled with facts and fun adventures that will inspire kids to learn more about our planet's southernmost continent. The next one is Izzy's Arctic Encounter, a month in the land of ice and snow for ages 6 to 9. When Izzy and her father travel to the Arctic for a research expedition, they encounter a series of obstacles that put their skills and knowledge to the test. This book teaches kids about climate change, survival skills, and animals that call the Arctic home. And as I go down the list, it actually gave me some other interesting ideas that, maybe I wouldn't have thought of, such as, Izzy's Rainforest Expedition or Izzy's Space Adventure, a mission to Mars. Izzy's Underwater Expedition, to dive into the deep blue. Now, what's really cool about this is it actually gives me some really great insight into how I could turn this into a book series, which is really ideal when it comes to children's books. So I'm just going to stick with my original idea, which is the Antarctic Adventure, and that is closest to the first idea that it gave me. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy that one to my clipboard. And as I think about it, I'm actually going to go ahead and just download that text file as well, because that way I'm saving all 10 of these in case I decide to actually try that book series idea later on. The next step, after generating your idea, is to continue to the title generator. Step 2 is the title generator, and of course if you already know the title of your book, you can skip this one, but I would encourage you to give it a shot anyway, because you never know, it might come up with something that you hadn't thought of. And to generate some titles, all you have to do is paste in the idea that was generated for you during step 1. And as you may have noticed, that idea did come with a potential title, but I want to generate some more titles anyway to see if it comes up with something that I like better. Because as you'll see, it comes up with a lot of very interesting potential titles. For example, we have unique titles like Izzy's Frozen Expedition, Discovering Antarctica with Izzy, The Chilly Adventures of Izzy, Izzy's Quest in the Land of Ice, Snowy Journeys with Izzy. Then we have whimsical titles like The Magical World of Antarctica with Izzy, Izzy and the Penguins of Antarctica, Izzy's Icy Wonderland. and more. Or Izzy's Brilliant Adventure. We have educational titles like Izzy and the Secrets of the South Pole. Izzy Learns About Glaciers. Izzy's Amazing Antarctic Animals. I like that sort of alliteration there. Adventure titles. Izzy's Expedition to the Bottom of the World. Izzy's Wild Antarctic Adventure. Izzy's Journey to the Frozen Tundra. We have fun titles like Izzy's Cool Adventure. Fun Trip to Antarctica with Izzy. Imaginative titles like Izzy's Dreamy Adventure to the Antarctica. The Fantastical Adventures of Izzy in Antarctica. The Magical Encounter with Penguins. We have animal titles and we have fictional titles. So we have many, many to choose from. So let's see. Let me take a look at these for just a moment and see what I like best. I think I like Izzy and the Secrets of the South Pole. You know, I haven't been a copywriter for a long time and being in info marketing, you know, I like that word secrets. There's something about the word secrets that's always intriguing. So I think I'm going to go with Izzy and the Secrets of the South Pole. Now I could click to copy or just simply to download all these potential titles and save them for later, or I could just copy that one, which I can use in the next step. So I'm just going to copy that one title, Izzy and the Secrets of the South Pole, and then continue to the next step, which is the story generator. In step 3, we generate the story. And it's as simple as pasting in the content that was created for us in step 1 and step 2. So the title that we got from step 2 was Izzy and the Secrets of the South Pole. The age range, I'm going to bump that up to ages 5 through 8. And then the description can be the exact description that was given to us in step 1. Now this is optional, but if you wrote your own synopsis or your own description to begin with, you could either alternatively use that or you could add your own content to that. So that 4 short sentences that I had originally came up with as a synopsis, I'm just going to add that to the description to make sure that my ideas are included when the AI generates this story. Now for the tone, it depends on what kind of book you want it to be. If you want it to be funny, then tell it to use a funny tone. If you want it to be happy, it could be a happy tone. For most, I would recommend either just saying something like normal or casual. In this case, I'm going to say casual and adventurous. For writing style, I would recommend leaving it as a typical children's book if that's what you have in mind, but obviously if you have something else that you're aiming for, then you would put in a different writing style. For pages, I'm going to say 16 because the most common children's book length is 32 pages. And as you'll see when I put all this together, 16 pages of content here will end up being 32 pages in the end. And then we just click the button and it will write the story for us. And it only took a matter of seconds for it to write this book for us. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and download this text file. So I've got the whole story saved. And then I'm just going to quickly skim through this to see if there's anything that I might want to revise or tweak using our rewrite tool. So page 1, Izzy was excited to go on an adventure with her dad. They were going to a place that not many people get to visit, Antarctica. Page 2, Izzy's dad was a research scientist. He had to go to a research base in Antarctica to do some work. Izzy was allowed to go with him, even though kids normally aren't allowed there. When they arrived at the research base, Izzy was amazed. It was surrounded by snow and ice, and there were lots of scientists working on different projects. Izzy's dad showed her around the base and introduced her to some of his colleagues. They were all very friendly and happy to meet Izzy. So like that's an example. Colleagues sticks out as a word that I'm a little surprised that it used that for ages 5 to 8. So I might actually use the rewrite tool to rewrite that sentence. Let me just skim through the rest here, see if there's anything else that I want to rewrite. And as I skim through this, I see that it's a really neat little story. And I'm actually quite pleased that it does touch on taking care of the earth, but it really doesn't delve into global warming and that whole aspect, as I wasn't really wanting to. So this is just perfect. So I think I'm just going to change that one sentence, and I think I could actually do that without even using the rewrite tool, but I'm just going to show you how to use it anyway. So if there's anything you want to rewrite, or if you want to expand parts of the story, you would click to use the rewrite tool next. So where it says paste here, I'm pasting that part that I want it to rewrite, and then you put in what would you like changed. And there's really no limit to what you can do here. I mean, if you want to, change your story to make it more humorous, you could say, hey, add some jokes here. If you want your character to actually do something different than what it originally came up with, you could tell it to change that. Or if you want to make it longer, you could say, add some more details, add some more information to this paragraph to make it longer. So what I'm going to say is, colleagues is too mature of a word for 5-year-olds, so rewrite this sentence for 5-year-olds. And it did. Izzy's dad took her on a tour and introduced her to some of his friends at work. Perfect. So in the text file that I saved for our story, I'm simply going to go in and replace that sentence with the new one. The next step when you're done generating your story is to generate a copyright page. Step 4 is optional depending on how you plan to publish your book, and it is to generate some additional pages that you may wish to have as a part of your book, starting with the copyright page. And so for that, you would fill in the author's name. I'll go ahead and use my real name for now. You, of course, could use a pen name. If you want to put in a website address, you can do that. And if you have an ISBN number, you can enter it there and simply press to generate your copyright page. And I'll go ahead and save that text file. And I'll move on to the next part of this step, which is to generate a title page. Very simple. Just put in the title of your book and the author name and click the button. And we'll save that text file. And the last part of this step is to generate some text for the back cover. And for this, we're going to actually use the very same book synopsis that was generated for us in step 1. So just paste that in and click the button. And I'll go ahead and download that text file as well. Once you've saved that, the next step is to move on to start making the illustrations. Step 5 is to create your illustrations. And for me personally, this is the most fun step of them all. I think it's really kind of where the magic happens. So for this one, I like to make sure I have my story right here as I'm going through and creating the illustrations. So I'd open the text file with that story that we generated. And as you can see, the story is already organized into pages. And so I want to create an illustration for each page. And the way we create illustrations with this tool is using what we call prompts. And I do have a tutorial here in the members area showing you how to create a great prompt. So I'm not going to go in depth on creating prompts or illustration techniques in this demo. But one tip I will give you is that, once you come up with a general prompt that creates the kind of illustration that you're looking for, you can essentially rinse and repeat. You can use that same prompt with the same style, simply changing the subject for each page, right? For example, here on page 2, I'm thinking, they're going to a research base in Antarctica, and so I'm going to have a picture of that type of airplane, flying to Antarctica. Then they arrive at the research base, and so in that one, the subject would be an Antarctic research base, right? So the style is going to stay the same. I'm planning on using sort of a watercolor, a real beautiful watercolor style for these illustrations, but then the subject would change for each page. But my point is you can really save a lot of time by just sort of reusing the same prompts over and over with the same style and illustration prompts, just changing the subject within that prompt. So let's get started. So my first page, I want to have a picture of our character. Now I'm not going to put the character in most of these pictures. In fact, I will create a tutorial going into more depth on character creation, and it absolutely can be done with this tool. But you can definitely save some time by not putting your character into all of the illustrations. And then you can choose how many images you want to create for each prompt so that you have a few different options to choose from. And of course, you can do that as many times as you want, but I typically like to go with 3. Sometimes I go as high as 6. Maybe I'll just go with 4 images for this demo and go ahead and just click Create Image. And my first prompt did create some very beautiful images. This is very close to what I'm looking for. The only problem I see is that this young girl, the character of my book, is wearing a skirt in all of these, whereas she's flying to Antarctica. So I want to add to this prompt and say that they're wearing winter clothes. Wearing winter clothing. And I'm going to go ahead and regenerate those images. And that absolutely did the trick. In fact, now my tough choice here is simply choosing between these 4 images because all 4 of them look really good. I'm going to rule this one out because I don't like that the girl's behind her dad. I like this one because the dad's hand is reaching down, and I like this one because they're sort of right next to each other. So I think it's between these ones. Although I do like the red boots down on this one as well, but I don't like the dad's character as much. So I'm going to choose this one right here. I'm going to click download. And part of my thinking on choosing this one is that it chopped off Dad's head, which means I don't have to worry about creating his head consistently in any other illustrations. Now, just to show you what I personally like to do as I'm downloading these, I like to go ahead and rename those files based on the page number. So this is page 1, so I'll rename it to 01.png. And just before we move on to the next illustration, I want to show you another feature that we do have built in, and that is our variation generator. So you could click on any of these. So say I like this one, but maybe I wanted some different options. I could click on this image and then click Generate Variations. And as you can see, that gives me 6 additional variations of that particular illustration. And in fact, these are really good variations. I could have just as well chosen any of these. And as I look at them again, I almost like a couple of these better because it really shows that the dad and the little girl are holding hands. And so what I'll do is just download a few of these just as backups. Really no reason why not. In fact, I'm going to download 4 of those just in case. And I'd say that's just a great general rule of thumb. If you generate some images that you like, and even if you're not sure if you're going to use them, if you like those images, go ahead and just download them because maybe you'll want to use them again someday. All right, moving on to the second prompt. Let's go ahead and generate some more images. Okay, this is exactly what I had in mind. It is looking really good. Boy, I could either go with number 2 or number 3 on this one. Both of those are really beautiful images of this type of aircraft flying over the Antarctic Ocean. I'll go ahead and download both of them. And for now, I'll say this one is going to be page 2. Moving on now to page 3, let's generate some more images. And wow, yeah, this is really just meeting my expectations for sure. All 4 of these very much sort of fit my vision for what I had in mind of just sort of this overall landscape of an Antarctic research base. I really like the second one. Well, I don't know. I like the second, third, and fourth. Really tough call on that, and maybe when I take a closer look at them, maybe I'll change my mind, but I think I'm kind of leaning towards the fourth one. So I'll say that one's page 3. Moving on now to page 4. And by the way, I'm just doing one run through of each of these. I mean, if something makes a mistake, or if it doesn't create the right images, I'll end up tweaking the prompt. But this is first try in each of these, and it is generating some really good results. Again, tough call. I like this one, number 3, and I kind of like number 4. I like the colors, that splash of color in that 4th image, so I think I'm going to probably name that one as page 4 for now. Moving on to page 5, put in my prompt and generate some more images. As you can see, we're going with penguins here. They both work really great because they have this space. The top half of the frame is completely reserved for the title and author name. Again, this one's more realistic, but I think this one, with her being in such close proximity to the penguin, might really catch people's attention and sell more copies. So I'm going to go with this one. So we'll call that the cover. Once you're done creating your illustrations, it's time to move on to step 6, which is putting everything together. Step 6 is to put everything together and publish it and start selling it. The first thing I like to do is make sure I've got all of my ingredients together in one folder for easy access. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder on my computer. I'll call it Izzy Antarctica. And then I'm going to grab that copyright page, the title page, the back cover, the story itself, and then the 16 images that I selected for my illustrations. Plus the cover. And as I think about it, I will need a back cover too, so I could use one of the existing images, or let's see. You know, there was this penguin picture that I just loved the illustration and ended up not being put in the book, so I'm going to grab that as my back cover. I'm going to drag all those into the new folder that I just created. So here are all of the components of the book that we're putting together. If you watched my demonstration of step 5, creating the illustrations, then you saw me naming those illustration files as I went through and created those illustrations so that I could easily keep track of which illustration was for which page. Your next step is to open a document software, whatever it is that you like to use, whether it's Microsoft Word, Google Docs, or Pages by Apple. I personally like to use Microsoft Word because it's really powerful, but for this demonstration I'm going to use Google Docs because it's free and everyone has free access to it. So for that, you would go to docs.google.com, click to start a blank document. Now if you're watching this demonstration on the sales page, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to the finished product rather than go through this entire process on the sales page, because really part of what you're getting as a part of this platform is access to this tutorial as well as many in-depth tutorials showing you exactly how to put this together, advanced information on what other tools you might want to use, tutorials on various publishing options, whether you want to publish it as an ebook or a printed book, and even tutorials on how to sell and market your finished book. So if you're watching this demo on the sales page, I'll go ahead and skip ahead now. If you're watching this in the members area, I'm going to, of course, keep the camera rolling and you can watch everything that I do. And we'll go to View, Page Display, Two-Page View. So there's the front cover, copyright page, title page, and now we can just go through the book. And this is what it would look like if we were to have it printed and as we're reading it. There's the first spread. Here they are going on their adventure on the plane. They arrive at the research base. She meets some scientists. Then they start going on the adventure. She sees the penguins. She learns about them. She goes and sees glaciers. She learns about those. She sees the night sky. She learns about the seasons in Antarctica. She sees seals. She sees whales. And then it's time to go home. She's excited to tell her friends and family. And she wants to keep learning and taking care of the planet. The end, says the happy penguin in the back cover. And there you have it. We just created not only a book, not only a children's book with this tool, but a very nice, beautiful children's book that will actually be enjoyed by, real families. And once again, in the members area, you have additional tutorials showing more publishing options, as well as how to actually market and sell your book. So have fun, and we look forward to seeing your story.